everybody, and welcome to another Cricut craft tutorial. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's completely free to subscribe and it helps support my channel. Make sure to hit the big bell icon down there in the corner as well, because that will let you know when I post a new video or when I go live. Today we're going to show you guys how to take a coloring page or an outline picture and make it into a layered SVG in Design Space. It's really easy and really fun. We are going to make Marie. She's super easy to do, and once you kind of get the simple one down, you can go and do really complicated stuff. I can't wait to show you guys how to do this and then how to easily line it up so that your decal looks perfect and professional. Let's go over to Design Space and get started. The first step to turning a coloring page into your own multi-layer SVG is to click on upload and upload an image. Now I just Googled Disney coloring page, so simply find whatever you like and make sure it's a fairly clean image, doesn't have a lot of blurring, it's not super like pixelated. And I got two different ones. I got a Little Mermaid and I got Marie, so we'll just start with her. Now what we're going to do is select simple and click continue. Now, just like when you do any other upload like this, you need to remove everything that is white. You just want to leave her outline. So you'll just click on each piece that's white and not that, because that was a mistake. But luckily there is an undo button for when you mess that up like I just did. So you're just going to sit here and click away all the little white pieces, but leave that outline. The outline is super important, and you guys will see why in just a minute. So we're going to go ahead and click on continue. There is the one that we want to save. We want to save her as a cut image. Click on save, and we will go ahead and insert our image. She's going to be a pretty simple one to start with. So when we do this, we actually need to use the contour. So my first step is going to be to duplicate Marie. I'm going to move one of them way off to the side because we don't need it. We are going to go ahead and click on the word contour. I leave the Marie over here so that I can see her and see what I am working with. Now what I want to do is I'm going to do all the pink pieces first. So if you click hide all contours, what that does is it turns the whole thing black, and we don't want that. We only want to keep certain pieces of Marie, like the inside of her ears and her bow and her nose. So what you're going to do is try to get it to let you click the outside portion of her, which sometimes it will allow and other times it won't. And now that it's done that, you just kind of have to move your mouse around a little bit to get it to let you to click on the outside. So now what we'll do is get rid of everything that isn't going to be pink. So her eyes, her eyebrows, the outside of her ears, the top of her little hair, I guess that would be this part of her ear. So you're just going to click on every little piece and just make it all go away. And this is kind of time consuming, but totally worth it. And you can just kind of watch what's left over here on this part of the screen. So you want to keep this part because that's her collar, and then this is the back of her bow. And then none of this is going to be pink, so we're going to get rid of all of that. Now that you just have those couple pieces left, go ahead and click out of contour. I'm going to immediately change the color just so I know what color I'm working with, and I'm going to move it over here. We're going to take Marie again, and we're going to click duplicate again. Move one all the way over to this side so you can see what you're doing. Click contour again, and then try to get to that edge so it will let you get rid of that. Sometimes, like I said, you kind of got to move around and see when it like highlights. And now we're going to do everything on her that's white. So you're going to get rid of all the parts that you saved that were the bow and her ears. So that is our first step. And sometimes you'll see that it'll highlight something weird. Like if I'm over here, it's highlighting up here, even though I wanted to remove this. So now we don't need her nose. And I think that should be everything, but I always just kind of look. And you can always come back and fix if you screw it up. So because our background's white, I'm just going to make her like a light gray. It just makes it a little bit easier for me to see if I have it exactly the way I want it. So now what I want to do is just line her up and just make sure all of her pieces that should be in here are there. And this doesn't have to be exact if you don't have it quite perfect. It's fine. And then you're just going to put her little pink part in just to make sure that all the parts that should be pink are pink. Now, I'm going to show you a quick trick to make it easier to line her up. We are going to take the part that is black, so we're going to move off the gray and the pink, and I'm going to make this a solid piece so that when I go to layer it, I'm not having to make sure it's perfect. So click on contour, and this is where you're going to use hide all contours. Now she is a solid piece, and she will be so much easier to line up when you go to actually put her together. So I'm going to get her all lined up on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and send this to the front so I can see it. And you want to get this lined up to where it should be. And this is just a matter of kind of playing around with it, figuring out where lined up is for you. I think that looks pretty good. And now you can use your registration marks. So with her, super easy. We are just going to use 2 stars. I'm just going to duplicate that star, and actually I'm going to delete that star. I'm going to just make this star smaller, and then I'm going to duplicate. I always do that. I always want to duplicate before I make the size I want it. So to save space, I'm going to put my stars kind of right next to her. That way it doesn't cut out a ton of different spaces. So the first thing I'm going to do is select my 2 stars and, oops, not her. Select my 2 stars, and I'm going to attach them. And then I want to duplicate them twice. What I need to do now is select each set of my stars, and I want to use the align button, and I just want to center them. It's going to move them, but that's totally fine. Just move them back where you want them. I think that looks pretty good. So take one set of your stars, and you're going to attach it to the pink part. Take another set of your stars, and you're going to attach it to the gray part. And then take the last set of stars and attach it to the black part. That will be your registration marks. Now that you've put your registration marks on, we can go ahead and click Make It. You'll want to size her to whatever size you want, and I'm actually going to add just a little cute little Marie quote, because why not? And that way I can cut it all at once and just be done with it. So her little quote is, "'Cause I'm a lady." Now, I love Marie. She is one of my favorites. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a really cute girly font for this. Probably just going to go with, let's take a look at Magnolia Sky. That's usually my go-to. That works. We will go ahead and change our letter spacing. And I'm going to, ooh, that is not cute. So the I'm got really weird because of our apostrophe. So a quick trick, ungroup your letters and then just move your M over a little bit. And grab your little tiny apostrophe and move that over. And there you go, all done. Make sure you weld. Click on weld. But you can move your words closer together if you'd like, because mine are kind of far apart and I don't like it. So I'm going to move them a little bit closer together, just because I didn't like how far apart they were. And this is where you kind of can play with it, do what you want. We're going to go ahead and weld it. And I think I'm going to cut this on, I think I will do white. So I'll make it that gray color just because it's easier to see. So here are all our Marie parts. And then we have our little quote, which I think needs to be sized down just a little bit. I'm going to size her down. I'm sizing it down just because it was a little too big for my design. Now what we can do is go ahead, click on Make It, and it's going to have all of our little parts on our screen. So you've got your white, which is shown as gray, your black piece, and then your pink. I'm going to get these cut out. I'm going to use StarCraft HD, and we will then assemble. I've weeded everything, and I've applied transfer tape to our white, and I know that it's a little hard to see. So what I'm going to do is remove the backing, but I'm just going to remove it from around that star. So what I do is I will just fold my backing back a little bit. I just trim it away from where my registration mark is, being careful not to cut the decal itself. There are a ton of ways to do these, but this is just kind of how I do it. But you can absolutely do this a million different ways. But this way is just the way I've kind of found that works best for me. I tend to accidentally get my decal stuck to parts it shouldn't stick to when I'm doing registration marks if I don't do it this way. So you just kind of have to play around, do some kind of practicing. That's the thing with crafting. It's all kind of about practicing. So what we're going to do now, and hopefully this will be a little bit easier to see. So I have my decal on my transfer tape, and I'm going to line up my stars. So this is not always the easiest thing to do, nor to see, but it's just a matter of practicing. But because we only have those little pieces open, it's going to be a lot easier to set it down exactly where we need her to sit. So all I do is I get right above it. So you can probably see the top of my head at this point. And I get right above it and I just follow into the stars. And I just want to make sure that they are both perfectly lined up so that there isn't any black showing. And this is just kind of a matter of kind of moving your transfer tape itsy bitsy bitsy bits by itsy bitsy bits. So I think that looks okay. Those look pretty good. So now that you've got those set down, all you need to do is, I typically do this in the, just like I would if I was doing a hinge method. So I will lift everything up. I will cut this part off. I will lay this part back down. Oops, and we lost a piece. I guess I must have lost that while I was weeding. Whoops, that's okay. It happens. I can replace it. If you ever lose a piece while weeding, you can just go in and contour that out. I will fix that. I can't, yeah, because it's not on here, which means I lost it when I was weeding. So it's fine. It's no big deal. I was just doing it kind of quickly. I shouldn't have gone that fast. I should have taken my time, but I didn't. I just wanted to do it because it's so cute, so I'll fix it. But again, super easy. You can absolutely very easily cut the piece that you missed just by doing the same steps and just contouring. All right, and then we're gonna just lay her head down. And you can see how nicely lined up that is, minus the, don't look at that, because that was my fault. So now what we're gonna do is pull up our transfer tape. We're gonna get this stuck down to the backing. This is not always the easiest part because you do sometimes have to kind of guide it to stay on the backing. But I used a used up piece of transfer tape because I didn't want it to stick really hard. And apparently I picked a kind of a sticky piece because over here I can feel that it's really well stuck. So you're just going to go really super slow. And you're going to peel this off. You're going to make sure these stars stay stuck down because we still need those. We still need these bad boys. So you want to make sure those stay where they're supposed to. So again, I'm just very gently pulling the transfer tape back. I just want to make sure nothing got stuck that wasn't supposed to. So we'll just gently pull this back. And you can see that part is done with the exception of her little butt piece there, but I'll fix it. So now what I'm going to do is, again, take transfer tape, and I'm going to put the pink on the transfer. And I'm just going to run my squeegee right over that real quick. And then, again, I'm going to do the same thing because for me, like I said, this is just much easier. And this is so simple to do. You guys saw how easy it was to turn a simple coloring page, so a simple outline, into this awesome decal. You guys can do this with any kind of outline that you have. It just needs to be an outline. And you can do this in any kind of colors, anything that you want. But it's so easy and it's so much fun and you can really come up with some awesome stuff. Now, this, I will say that doing this with the white stars is not super easy. So you might want to consider doing the white last. I did not think about that because the backing on our design is obviously white. So this may be a little tougher to do, but we will figure it out. I always also say leave enough transfer tape that your fingers have somewhere to go. So like right now, this one's kind of being a pain because it keeps sticking to the bottom. So I'm going to trim off my transfer tape down here. Again, this is just stuff I kind of do just to make my life easier. It may not work for you. So I'm going to trim it off a little bit so that it stops sticking to the bottom of my original decal, because it keeps moving it as I'm trying to lightly move my stars around so that they line up. Again, I like to try to get right above them and make sure that they are covering fully. That looks pretty gosh darn good. So we'll do kind of the same idea where we're just going to peel back. Oops, and it's trying to pick up my star and I don't want to do that. We are just going to peel back this. And again, I'm just going to do this like I do when I do the hinge method. Oops, and I got transfer tape stuck to my scissors. Slide that over there. And I just cut off this excess sticky or backing. This is just, like I said, this is just kind of how I do it. There are a million ways to do it. There is no right way or wrong way to really do this. It's just whatever works best for you. So now that I got one side stuck down, we are going to go ahead and pull the other side up. It's okay if the star comes up. Don't worry about it. Totally fine. Not really worried about that. And then we just lay it back down. I'm going to burnish this, and then we are going to get this pulled up. I'm going to go ahead, and if the stars come up, it's fine now. You don't really need them. I'm going to go ahead and just peel this off. And like I said, we don't need the stars anymore. You can take those. You could toss them. It doesn't matter. We don't need them. I just need to fix this mistake right here, and then she is fully done. Oh, and I missed a weeding spot. Oh, dear. I wonder if I can pull it off. I did not do a very good job with this one, guys. I'm sorry. I missed a spot with weeding. I ripped up part of her butt. Oh, you get the general idea. But look, if you mess up a spot where you weeded, you can take your pin pen and 99.9% of the time, get it off. Because look at that. All done. Now, ignore the black, because I will fix that. But look at how perfect that is. Is that not the easiest thing you've ever seen? I love it. I love how easy this is. I will easily go back and just cut this piece. Again, it's fine. Lining it up should be really easy. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays with the occasional bonus live video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and happy crafting.